You said that the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department should be dissolved. Another cheered on a teachers union saying that defund the police should be a requirement for schools reopening. And another saying good morning, especially to the 54% of Americans that believe burning down a police station is justified. Do you still stand by those comments?
I'm not going to engage in cable news talking points, but what I will say is that our communities need solutions. We need local people deciding, solving local problems with local solutions.
So you don't want to clarify whether you still believe that the police should be defunded?
I don't remember these tweets.
I'm not asking you if you remember. What is your position today? How's that?
I mean, once again, I'm here to talk about my race.
Unlike you see in the movies, the devil does not approach you with a pitchfork and a pair of supersized horns on his face. There is a reason Lucifer is often referred to as the son of the morning. Although the devil represents darkness, he doesn't approach you under the cloak of darkness. He may be evil, but he's not dumb. The devil hasn't deceived millions, maybe even billions of people by being Captain Doofus. The devil often disguises his darkness through the cover of light. It's damn near impossible to deceive someone by telling them the truth. Hell, truth is the opposite of deception. In order to deceive, you have to make something that's obviously bad look appealing. Here on the channel, we call it polishing the turd. That clip I just showed you, if you listened or watched that clip muted and you just saw the visual, you would think that this was two lovely women having a nice conversation. But once you listen to the clip and once you research the background of Afton Ben, it doesn't take you very long to realize that this beautiful blonde woman is very dangerous. I have been telling you guys for months, one of the biggest threats to America, woke white women, especially woke white women with power, especially woke white women who have been thoroughly indoctrinated by colleges and universities. During their formative years, they have been led to believe that their whiteness is inherently evil. They have been led to believe that having children is bad, bad, bad. They paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to develop an incurable allergen to toxic masculinity. They have been taught, you don't need no man, girl power. Ignore your biological wants and desires and become an independent woman. I'm a woman, independent. Why are you so unhappy? You know what's ironic about woke white women? They are aligning themselves with an ideology that represents the antithesis of their indoctrination. They're aligning themselves with an ideology that treats women and identifiers in the LGBT as second-class citizens. They're aligning themselves with an ideology that literally strips them of their independence. Woke white women, which are a threat to the capitalist system here in America, they're aligning themselves with what Uncle KC believes is the biggest threat to America, Islamist, the ideology of Islam. Like Afton Ben, who is running, I believe, for a congressional seat in Tennessee, New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani, he has been questioned about his anti-police rhetoric. Now, to his credit, and unlike Afton, who completely dodged the question, Zohran Mamdani has at least tried to distance himself from his past rhetoric. I did want to defund the police before I ran for mayor, but that was the past. I've changed my mind. After I sat on Orange Santa's lap last Friday and told him what I want for Ramadan, I realized that the police are our friends. Some are willing to believe that Zohran Mamdani's had a change of heart. Some are willing to believe that Zorro will be unified with police in New York City, and we will fight crime together. Woof, woof. Unfortunately for Zorro, Uncle KC has never developed an appetite or a taste for the shit sandwich, which means I don't believe you. I don't listen to words, I look at your actions. And judged by the very recent actions of Zohran Mamdani, it is abundantly clear that Zorro is still anti-police. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. Earlier today on the second channel, talked about a man being named the strongest woman in the world. Well, Casey, how is that even possible? Well, as it turns out, it's not. A former man tried to compete in the world's strongest woman competition last weekend. Matter of fact, the former man did compete and won. But after the event, it was determined that the former man was born with Frankenbeans, and Jamie Booker was stripped of the title as the world's strongest woman. I give you all the details, so click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Last week, during his visit with Daddy Don at the White House, where Zohran Mamdani was behaving like a child who didn't want to be grounded, Zorro insinuated that he and the Trumper, they were on the same page when it came to fighting crime. Less than a week later, Zorro hired Alex Vitale to be a member of his transition team. Is Alex Vitale a doctor at Woke Memorial Hospital? Is he assisting Zorro in a gender transition? No, that's one thing normal people and Islamists happen to agree on. We both agree men are men and women are women. Alex Vitale was hired by Zohran Mamdani to assist with the transition of New York City. I guess he's going to help Zorro transition New York City from being the greatest city in the world to being a communist Islamic dump. Alex Vitale is the author of The End of Policing. He calls for the abolition of cops. He claims police officers are violence workers who are harmful to the communities that they are serving. He also claims that cops are used to produce inequality along the lines of race, gender, and sexuality. I guess, according to Alex, cops are patrolling their beats looking for someone who's waving a rainbow flag or maybe a Palestinian flag. Once the cops see them, I guess they arrest them for the crime of existing. If that's the case, how come these paid protesters are allowed to destroy major cities without consequence? If Alex Vitale was the only member of Zorro's team that was anti-police, you could argue that maybe this was an oversight. Maybe it was a clerical error or coincidental. But Zorro also hired Elena Leopold or Elena Leopard. Whatever the hell her name is, Elena signed an open letter in 2020 demanding that $1 billion be removed from the NYPD's budget. Clearly, Elena is a supporter of the movement to defund the police, which is a movement that seems to be returning to prominence. Strange. As I was prepping this video, 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard were shot in Washington, D.C. Now, according to USA Today, they ended up losing their lives in the hospital. Over the last few weeks, Democrats and their pretend friends in the mainstream media, they have been demonizing the brave men and women in our National Guard. They've called them Nazi troops. They've compared them to the Gestapo. And then they pretend to mourn when something like this happens. It is not a coincidence that the defund the police movement has become a top priority again for Democrats. Just like it's not a coincidence that Somalia is being presented as this tropical paradise. Yesterday, Steven Crowder revealed some interesting information about Somalia. Since we seem to have a growing population of Somalians here in America, Steven Crowder wanted to get acquainted with his new neighbors. According to the data that Steven Crowder found, 49% of Somalians are keeping it in the family. Translation, they are marrying their cousins, or in some cases, their brother. Does that sound familiar? The average IQ in Somalia is 67. Now, here in America, anything below 70 is considered, let's just say anything below 70 is considered intellectually challenged. The average IQ in Somalia is 67. That is the average. That means half the population scored below 67. Also means the overwhelming majority of the Somalian population is intellectually challenged. They have trouble reading Dr. Seuss. There have been 4 decades of non-stop civil war in Somalia. Is it any wonder? Is it any wonder why Minneapolis looks like a third world country? Anyway, it's not a coincidence that Democrats are once again pushing to defund the police. Have you ever wondered why? Have you ever wondered why they want to defund the police? For decades, they have been trying to abolish the Second Amendment. And for decades, abolishing the Second Amendment has ended in huge embarrassing failure. It's too difficult. There are too many judges. The Supreme Court is dominated by Republican judges. It's damn near impossible to get rid of the Second Amendment. But it is easier to defund local police departments. The question is, why would they want to do that? It's all about control. Communists want to control your money. They want to control everything you own. But with Islamists, they want your soul. If you defund the police in New York City, who's going to leave? Those pesky white people, those pesky Asian people, those annoying black people with money. What you're left with is a voting bloc that you can completely control. If you really want to ensure that you win future elections, you maintain New York City's status as a sanctuary city, and you flood the city with immigrants from Islamic countries. Next thing you know, the Statue of Liberty is wearing a hijab and praying 5 times a day. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.